Technology Decoded, in association with Deloitte, helping organizations solve their most complex business challenges. Visit Deloitte.ch.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Technology Decoded with Richard Bradley from Deloitte, the show which examines how new technology is changing our lives and the way we make a living. Now today, Richard, we're looking at cyber security, which is a massively important thing for all of us. And back in April, we spoke about the Internet of Things, and I understand there has been a few developments in the area, particularly when it comes down to cyber security.
Yeah, that's right, Mark. So if you look at the UK right now, it was in the news a couple of days ago, the digital minister is actually looking to introduce legislation that will regulate some of these IoT devices. So if you remember, we spoke about, a particular vulnerability of these IoT devices being the passwords on them and how you should regularly change them. Well, a lot of them come shipped to you with very easy to guess passwords, almost default passwords. And the legislation is trying to look to change this so that actually manufacturers are obligated to put very hard to guess passwords on some of these devices.
So those very long, complicated passwords are something that people will have to type into first if they want to change something. But of course, if they left it alone, their units would be particularly safe. So that brings us nicely into the area of cyber security. And this is a big issue, isn't it?
Right, it's a massive issue. It's an issue for companies, it's an issue for individuals. And actually at Deloitte, we've estimated that it costs the global economy around $1.5 trillion. And it's incredibly hard to catch the people doing this because they hide their tracks extremely well. And it impacts each one of us. So, it impacts us at work, it impacts us at home. And every time you have a cybersecurity incident with one of our clients, we can estimate that costs around 300 million Swiss francs per incident.
So it shows actually paying for a little bit of security on that could well pay off at that level. So this is where innovation is coming. We know that cyber criminals are very fast moving, very fleet of foot. But the innovators, are they just as fleet of foot to catch up and thwart them?
Well, so I think yes and no. So there's a problem and there's an opportunity with this. So new devices, new technologies that are coming out, the more innovative they are, the more opportunities they give to cyber criminals to actually exploit some of those vulnerabilities. So, we're seeing new standards, new types of devices, new ways of connecting and new ways of using existing technology. May be great for us, but for cyber criminals, lots of opportunities.
And what sort of things should people be looking out for? How should we, as individuals, make sure that we are cyber secure?
Well, actually, one of the most common things is actually one of the oldest tricks in the book, and that's called phishing with a PH. And that's about when cyber criminals will send you an email, for example, and it will look and feel very much like it's come from your bank or your social security office, and it will encourage you, it will redirect you to a website, and they'll usually be asking for some kind of information, like your bank details or your password or some personal details. It can also be social engineering, which we're seeing more and more of, especially with the social platforms that are out there. We share a huge amount of data that we don't even realize, and that can be used by criminals to build a profile for us, to find out what's important for us, where we are at certain points in time, and socially engineer that concept of trust with us to encourage us to give up our data.
So how can we avoid this then? So what should we be doing other than just be alert?
Well, when we did our IoT section, we talked about securing devices with passwords, but there are some incredibly simple things you can do both at work and at home, which is, use your antivirus, install your updates, make sure you've got the latest firewalls on your systems, make your passwords complex, but technology aside, be very suspicious if somebody is asking you to hand over personal information.
Okay, and I've also heard that Deloitte is doing its bit, especially with students of Switzerland, about cybersecurity. Yeah,
that's right. Actually, we just co-sponsored the 5th edition of the European Cyber 912 Student Challenge. We actually fielded in this year 3 all-female student teams from the University of St. Gallen and ETH Zurich. So yes, Deloitte's doing its bit.
Okay. Richard, thanks so much indeed. That was Richard Bradley there from Deloitte. If you want to hear that show and others in the series, you can always go to our website, which is worldradio.ch/Technology Decoded.
Technology Decoded, in association with Deloitte, helping organizations solve their most complex business challenges. Visit Deloitte.ch.